Hey guys, Roby here with the Divi Engine team. I am so excited today to bring my first tutorial using Divi Form AI. Divi Form AI is the latest feature in Divi Form Builder as a free upgrade to existing users. So those of you that don't have a license yet, now's the best time to get one. Go and get it. Now, in today's tutorial, we're going to be building out a smoothie recommendation tool engine. I'm calling mine Chef Engine. And we're going to be outputting step-by-step recipes for smoothies based on the stuff you have in your fridge and any dietary requirements that you may have, along with the nutritional information. And you can have that emailed to you right from this form. It's a great use case for Divi Form Builder AI, and it is going to be a huge asset any site that you build. So for those of you that have not liked or subscribed or commented on our videos yet, now is the time to interact with them because it really helps us out. It keeps us motivated to make this awesome content for you guys, free of charge, of course, and for you to enjoy. Why don't we just go get right into it? Okay, gang, so here we go. I'm on the back end of my Divi site here. I've already got Divi Form Builder installed and I'm updated to the latest version with Divi Form AI. Now I'm going to go ahead and I just created this page. I called it Chef Engine, and that will be live on the demo site, diviformbuilder.com. And I'm just going to click on Start Building right here. Now, we're not going to be getting into design here at all, guys. We're just going to build this out so that you can apply your sick design skills with Divi Form AI. So I'm just going to make a single column row, and I am just going to go add a form module, a Divi Form Builder module, that is. Okay, now here are a few things I just quickly want to briefly touch on. We'll just maybe call this the Smoothie Doctor for my form title. Just lets me know where it is. And the form ID is not that important. Now with Form AI, you can of course use different form types. I'm using a contact form in this specific example, but if you want to do front-end post creation and stuff like that, you can certainly use those form types. But it certainly doesn't make sense on all the forms. Like maybe on login, you don't want to use that. So let's go a bit further down. And I just want to make you aware of the Form AI tab here on the Divi Form module. And you have some options here. Now I'm going to briefly just touch on this, that you've got some spend limits here. You can decide what happens when a spend limit's reached. You have some options as to what you want the submit button to do before the AI has responded. You can save suggestions to database. You can limit the response ratio. And then you can also get some debug information. And we might touch on that when we work on the prompt. It's helpful to see how the prompt goes to the API call with ChatGPT. And sometimes you need to debug what's happening there. Okay, so now that we've got that, and my amazing editor is going to put this on the screen here, I thought a bit about what fields we would want here for a smoothie generating recipe guru chef engine. And I figured, well, maybe we want some ingredients. We're going to want the type of smoothie. Is it going to be veggie-based? Is it going to be fruit-based? And then maybe just some dietary restrictions. Maybe it needs to be low calorie. Maybe you can't have dairy, that type of thing. So let's go ahead by starting with our ingredients field. So we're going to add that in here. And if I go to my field options, I'm going to say ingredients. You can, of course, call that what you want. But what I want us to focus on here is you have to put a field ID in here. I'm going to put field ID F_ingredients. The F, of course, is just to represent this is form. And it's going to be an input field, of course. And you are not going to be having a Google address field, but you can do other things like limiting the length and all that fun stuff. I'm just going to turn autocomplete off here. Next up, you might want to just adjust it so that you can have a label at the top. That's looking better for me. And then why not add just the icon in there too? And we'll just add a caret and just show ingredients. And then you can probably see that right there. Yeah, great. Cool. Anything else that we want here? No, not really. We might want to just put a custom placeholder text that says, enter your ingredients, comma, separated. This is just an easy way, to work with the AI so that, it can easily identify the different ingredients. If you, let's say, add a full string of text in there, the AI might have some trouble identifying all of the ingredients. just makes it easier. The AI is only going to be as good as the information you give it. And if we format the data, computers love data, so that's going to help it out. Cool. Okay, so we've got our first form field down. Now, just make note of your field IDs. Now, I'm using something easy. I would suggest you do the same because we're going to be using those when we work on our prompt. Okay. This is not about design or whatever. Actually, I'm not even going to touch the design. You guys can play around with that stuff. But, if you want to, you can make the title text or the label text bold. You can add rounded corners to the inputs, all that fun stuff. We're not doing none of that right now, but probably when this is uploaded to the site, I would have, painfully added some design. And if you guys have been here a while, you know that is certainly not my forte. Okay, so what's the next field? We're going to be adding a field for the smoothie type. So let's go add a field. And I think what could work well there is a radio as a button. So let's take a look here. So let's say type, keep it easy. And then I'm just going to go f_type for form type. And then the field type we're going to be selecting is a radio button. Easy. And then the first one will say a veggie smoothie. And the second one will be a fruit smoothie. Easy to do that. And then let's go to the layout options. Now in the layout options, we will also, again, just add a label at the top. And we will change that radio button to a actual button because I think that looks way better. And then we'll just put them both in line like that. Don't mind these weird icons. They won't show on the front end. It's just a little goofy thing with the visual builder here. Now, next up, what we want to do is we're going to just go to the design. Now, this is the one time we'll touch the design here. And we will go to the radio checkbox active text. Or actually, not even text. We're going to go radio checkbox active button. Because we want to make sure that the user knows which one's selected. So I'm just going to set this text font size to 21. And when it's selected, I'm just going to make it have white text with a black background. And that's going to be it. Cool. Another field down. We're down to one more field to kind of determine what the user wants. And for that one, we're going to put in, of course, dietary restrictions. So let me type that in here, dietary restrictions. And then for the field ID, this time I'll just do f_restrictions. Did I spell that right? Of course not. There we go. Restrictions. For this one, I'm going to use a checkbox because a user could potentially have more than one dietary restriction, right? So we want to give them that opportunity. So for the first one, we'll go ahead and we will say we want it to be low calorie. And then the next one, maybe dairy free. And then lastly, we'll just put an option for none in case the user can have anything. Lucky person. And we will go back down to layout options again. And of course, we're going to, add that label to the top. And we will also convert this into buttons because I think that's a good style for this type of form that we're building. And we will put them in line again. And there we go. Now, as you guessed, we'll go to the design options again. And then we will go to the button style for the active radio checkbox. Again, we'll set this to 21. And for the active text color, white. And for the background color, black. And I think we've got a little bit of a form going on here. Let's publish this real quick and let's take a look and see whether we can actually use this form or interact with it. Okay, back to the front end. Okay, and now I have some ingredients here that I copy and pasted. You don't need to watch me put them in, but there we go. Orange, onion, kale, spinach, lemon, banana, apple, ginger. Ugh, awful. Anyway, so I selected veggie here. We can go dairy free. And if I hit submit, of course, it just submits the form. We haven't added the AI component yet, and that's what we're going to do now. Exciting times. So let's go back and edit this form by enabling the visual builder. All right, so I've got this loaded back up. Let's go in and add our AI field. So we're going to put in here AI recipe, but you can call that whatever you want. And for the field ID, I'm just going to call this f_recipe. All right, about that. Now, here comes the magic. For the field type, you are going to be selecting AI output because that is what we will be getting. You're not changing anything else up here, but now I want to point your attention to the Form AI section down here. This is where we do the prompt engineering bit of things. This is where you're going to spend the most amount of time when you build these forms initially. because a lot of times it takes a bit of iteration to go through this and set it up. But let's just first quickly take a look at all the options in here, and then we can talk about setting up personas and all that fun stuff. So first, of course, is our prompt. And then how would you like the API call to be triggered? Now, this one's set to automatically, but you can set it to a button or form submit also. I'm going to use a button, and then we will take it from there. And then you can say, okay, well, what do you want that text to be? Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so now output AI response to a field. Now, this is probably a little bit more for when you're doing front and post creation, where you want it to populate a text area or something like that, and you want to use that AI output in a new blog post or in a product that you created or something like that. We're not going to be doing that here, but it is good that you know that it's there. Now, you also want to configure a bad prompt message. Now, what that's going to be, of course, is, you know, that thing that OpenAI tells you all the time on ChatGPT that says, as an AI model, I cannot this or that. Well, you can put something else in there. We'll catch that and we'll replace it with some other text. So maybe what we'll put in here is, that is not the right information for a smoothie recipe. The doctor does not approve. There you go. That is our bad prompt message. Now, as far as the predefined prompt persona, we do have a few options in here for you, which you can select in the documentation. But since we're doing something that's rather niche, I'm going to select custom here, and we will go ahead and define our prompt persona. It's really there to give the AI context on what you're using it for. So you want to tell it, like, give it a specific role with a specific skill set, and then the type of information you expect it to give you. So knowing that, I'm going to say you are an AI chef that is experienced in creating delicious smoothie recipes based on ingredients the user provides and adheres to any dietary restrictions they may have. You can even give it a name. So we'll say your name is Chef Engine, and you should refer to yourself as such. There you go. Persona created. Now, you might have to play around with that a little bit. Your use case might be completely different. You can give it a funny personality. You can say you're a quirky chef, whatever. And you can have it tell you jokes in between, all that fun stuff. That goes here in the prompt persona area. Now, when we're talking about the AI response temperature, which is the next setting here, is we're talking about when it gets closer to 1, it gets a lot more creative latitude. And the closer it gets to 0.0, the more factual, the more dry the responses will be. I think keeping it in the middle, it'll make it like a good balance of chatty, but also keeping to what we're asking it to do. And then, of course, the next one here is going to be the response word count. I'm going to put mine at 350 to be inclusive of all different types of recipes, but this will actually restrict the response. Now, it's not going to be 100% accurate. It's a guideline. If you've played with ChatGPT, you'll know that, but that gives you that setting and a little bit more control over what you're doing, right? Now, next up, we've got the AI response loading style. Now, you've got the preloader and you've got the text option here. More on that a little bit later. But for right now, we're just using that stock Divi style. Okay, so we've got a persona in there. And now it's time for the meat and potatoes of this adventure, which is the prompt. And the thing that you always need to remember about this prompt engineering step is that the data you're going to get out is only as good as the data you put in. By other words, I'm saying the better your prompt, the better the result. I am going to feed it the contextual information it will need, which is going to be, the ingredients, the type of smoothing it's making, and then any restrictions that it should have. Then we're going to go and we're going to tell it, okay, well, you have all this stuff now. Here's how I want you to think about it, and this is what I need from you. So you're going to say you need the recipe, and then you're going to tell it how you want that information to be presented. So let's dig in. So first things first, the user has the following list of ingredients available to them. Put a colon there. I'll go to the next slide and pay attention now. Now, remember, I put the field ID of F underscore ingredients for all of my ingredients. So we're going to need that right now. And the way that we identify that this is a field ID is by putting %% in the beginning. So I'll go F underscore ingredients and %% at the end. So you need to wrap field IDs with %%. That's it. And if you've played around with the email templates for Divi Form Builder before, you'll recognize this, but that is an essential step here because that tells it this is a field that we're watching. And any of the fields that you include in this AI prompt, let's say you have the automatically triggered API call, it'll wait until each of these fields have had a value change or a state change. So be very aware of that. So anything you include here is watched by the API call. What's the next thing? We want to tell them they want a certain type of smoothie. So they want a, and you guessed it, %% F underscore type. That's our field ID again, %% smoothie recipe. Okay, so think about that. Let's say they put in there, I want a fruit smoothie recipe. It'd be they want a fruit smoothie recipe. That makes sense, right? So it's just really a placeholder for what the user input will be from the form. Great. So we have 2 pieces of information down, and now we need to talk about dietary restrictions. They have the following dietary restrictions. And guess what? We're going to go %% F underscore restrictions. Now, if you did not use the same field IDs as me, yours is of course going to be different. So keep that in mind when you're going through this. You want to use the field IDs that you put in there. And if you didn't put one in there, it's probably going to be something weird like field ID underscore 1 or some nonsense like that. Just go put it in there and use them. It's going to save you a lot of headache later on. All right, so let's keep going. So now we want to tell it, what do we want from you? We please, and I don't know why I'm always so polite to the AI, but I feel inclined to be. Please give me one detailed step-by-step smoothie recipe. That's a mouthful. That takes the user's ingredients and dietary restrictions into account. Simple enough, right? And sometimes you need to re-emphasize things with these prompts. So I'm just going to say again, make sure you adhere to their dietary restrictions and make the type of smoothie they want. So I think this is a pretty good base to start with. So let's go ahead and let's save this and see whether we have any success. Let's save the page. Okay, so I'm going to put my ingredients back in here. I am going to say, well, this is going to be a fruit smoothie and I don't have any dietary restrictions. We'll hit generate. Okay, greetings. I am Chef Engine, your AI chef. I'm happy to assist. Your delicious fruit smoothie, yada, yada, yada. You have no dietary restrictions. This is so awesome that it actually makes that little bit of conversation with you. It makes it personal. It lists all the ingredients here. It has all the instructions on how to do it. And then it gives you a little bit of like nutritional information, which is great. Now, what if you actually wanted to add the nutritional information? I think that would be pretty good. So let me show you how we would do that. Let's just go back to the Visual Builder. Okay, so here we are, and I will open up my form settings and we'll go to the AI recipe again. Now we will go to the prompt and we'll scroll down all the way. And now here is the part where we ask it exactly what we want. And now we can tell it, I also want you to output detailed nutritional information in a table format. Let's see if it'll do the table. Sometimes with GPT 3.5, you don't always get it exactly the way that you want it. You have to, either really spend some time in massaging that result, or you need to use GPT-4, which of course is much better, but your cost ratio there is about 1 to 9. So that all depends on how much value you want to add and how much money you want to spend. That was a very simple add on. And then let's quickly see what that's going to do. We'll save our form, our page, all that fun stuff. Okay, so pasting my ingredients: orange, onion, kale, spinach, lemon, banana, apple, and ginger. We want a fruit smoothie. We will this time say we want it to be low calorie. That's where the nutritional information will come real in handy. And here we go. Okay, well, so we've got some semblance of a table here. It doesn't look that great. So maybe we need to chat with it a little bit more, but we do have it including all these different ingredients and all that fun stuff. It's still recognizing all the stuff that we said. It's got to be a low calorie one, going to be a delicious smoothie based on the ingredients and dietary restrictions. Okay, so prompt massaging. So the first step, prompt engineering. Step 2, prompt massaging. Let's go back in and see if we can just get this formatted a little bit nicer. Okay, so here we are. We'll go back into our AI recipe here, Form AI, and there we go. Okay, so I also want you to output detailed nutritional information in a table format. So what if we say, instead of I want to output detailed nutritional information in a table format, we'll say as an HTML table formatted for easy reading. I also want to tell it, like, do not ask me any follow questions, just provide the information. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can get a better table result here from that input or that prompt. Let's put our ingredients in. We're going to say it's fruit, no restrictions, generate. Okay, and we still have a funky table here. So maybe what we need to do is give it the actual HTML as an example. And that is a lot of times what you need to do with, formatting results that you get. So let's enable the Visual Builder again, and we'll try this one more time. Okay, so let's go back to the AI recipe field and Form AI. Now I'm going to give this one last go, and what we'll do is pick up from here, and I'm going to tell it use table t-head. Basically what I'm doing is I'm feeding it the different tags it might use, etc., as needed to output the table. All right, let's save that one more time. This will be the final time that I try this. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you use GPT-4. Okay, so here we are in the front end again. And for the last time, let's try and see whether we can get this to output in a table format. Ingredients in, fruit. Let's make it dairy free. And let's see what happens. Okay, so here we go. And it worked this time because we gave it what it needs to use, which are those headings and those HTML tags. And that's amazing. I'm so happy it worked. Now, you can also style these outputs, of course, in the design settings for the Form AI field. This is looking great so far. I'm very happy with that result, as you can tell. Now, it might happen that you don't still get the right response or the output that you want. You might have to use GPT-4. It just depends on, again, how much money you want to spend and the experience you want to provide users. Now, I want to do 1 and 2 more things. One is going to be to add a text loader, which makes it a little bit more interesting while you're waiting. And then we're going to put an email this to me button right there instead of a submit button. So let's go do that by going back to the Form Builder in the Visual Builder. Okay, so here we go. Let's go into the form settings and we will go to the AI field. Now, I told you guys about the different preloaders earlier. We are going to go ahead and select text here. And now the way that this works is you add a line of text on each of those lines. That's why it's a line of text, but that will be typed out on the front end. And if you've seen some of the other demos or any of the promotional videos we've done for this, it is used extensively there because it just looks darn cool. So what we will do is type in your analyzing ingredients, ... And now in curly braces, you can put the color of the text you want to use. I'm just going to put black text. Now you can put full hex colors in there, but I'm going to be using that one. Then we'll say, considering restrictions, why not? I had to think about that for a second. Okay, cool. And then, I'm going to make this one white just to show you the variability that we can have in here. And then we will say, thinking about it, ... I didn't add the ... on the last one. I'll be sure to do that. Let's make this one black again. Let's go put ... for consistency. And then the last one, we're just going to say, here you go. And then we'll just make that one. I wonder if that'll work. I have not tried this yet, so bear with me. I might have to come back and fix that. Now, you do have an option here that says, AI response text method. So do you want it to type out on one line, delete a bunch of the text in the next line, or do you want it to go line by line? I like the separate line one, personally. And then you can set like the different timing settings here. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Now, also bear in mind, this is not actually looking at how long it takes to get the API response. It's just doing its thing until it does get the response, just so you know. Okay, so let's save it up. Okay, so here we go. Let me go copy my ingredients again and throw them in there. Fruit, no restrictions, generate. Now you can see it's doing the typing, and that white text is not going to work right there, unfortunately. And that is my bad. But there you go. You've got the red text coming up. And then it just kind of sits there, right? Now, you know that this API call took a little bit longer, but it is a cool effect that you can use. And you can see also that this time my table didn't come through the way that I wanted to. So that might take a little bit of extra prompt engineering, a little bit more skill, re-emphasizing possibly. But we're not going to get into that now because we can sit here all day and prompt engineer. That's up to you guys to figure out. But this is at least a little bit of a guide for you. So let me go back into the Visual Builder. We're going to do the last step, which is adding that email button. And maybe I'll even get into some of the debugging stuff. Okay, so let's go into our form settings. The first thing I'm going to do is actually add the debugging stuff so we don't have to do things more than once. Now, again, you can set your AI spend limit here. That's in USD. It's an estimation. Just let me reemphasize that. And then all the different stuff that you can do with the buttons. You can hide the form. You can disable the AI if you reach the spend limits. But remember also that in the Form AI settings in the backend of your Divi site, you can, of course, go reset these limits, just so you know. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to enable the debug information. That's really all I'm doing. The other thing, and now this is what I was talking about, is we're going to go and change the submit text to say, email this to me, ... And then what we want to do down here is where we have the email confirmation part. We're going to say, yes, we do want the email confirmation. And, you know, of course, you need the user's email address to do this. I don't have a field for that. So this is all hypothetical, but I did want to show this to you. Here you can say, here is your smoothie recipe. There you go. So that will be the email subject. And you know, of course, again, you know, for here, for the to email, which is going to be up here, you would put the field ID without the %%. This one works a little bit different. The field ID of the email field, but we don't have that right now. So we don't need to worry about that. The main thing that you want to remember, and now remember when we talked about using the prompt and then adding the fields that the user has completed and they're wrapped in that %%. And we talked about, if you worked with the email templates before, you'd already know this, but here we do it again. %% f underscore recipe, right? If we recall, that is what we named that field, the AI field. So you put the AI field in here. So it'll capture all the AI field response and throw it into this email. And that's really all you're going to need to do to get that to work. Let's save this up and we'll go back to the front end. And you can already see that the button text has changed. But of course, it's not going to send the confirmation email just because I don't have that input field on there. Let's put this in. We'll paste all ingredients. We'll say veggie, dairy free, generate, and it's analyzing. And that part is white text. It is working. That was just me. And there we go. We have it. And this time it decided to do the table. And now this is what I wanted to show you is this is the debug information. So you can see, okay, well, this model it's using is GPT 3.5. It's using 217 tokens, and the completion tokens are going to be 393. So total token usage 610. And the estimated cost of this form or this specific completion of the form is less than a penny. That's amazing. And this is not something you're going to want to show on the front end, but as you're debugging and you're doing your prompt engineering bit, you can see the actual prompt that does get sent to the GPT API. And it'll go through all of the stuff. Now, if you have one of your fields maybe not feeding through or something, this is where you'll come look to see if you maybe have a field name wrong or something like that, a field ID wrong or whatever the case might be. All right, guys, so that was quite the roller coaster and a pretty lengthy tutorial on getting to use Divi Form AI, but really getting into the prompt engineering side of things to get it to do what you want it to do, to take the information from the user, process it, and output it in a way that is useful to them. This has really been a creative process for us to think about what are the best ways that users can utilize this on their own sites. So I hope that this was helpful to you. Definitely like, subscribe, share, comment, all those fun things. It helps us out. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time. So this has been Roby with the Divi Engine team. I'm going to catch you in the next video. Bye for now.